Alright guys, we're going to be starting a new video series, and it's going to be called Spade Raw. And I guess this would be the first installation of it. And we call it Spade Raw because we're not going to do a bunch of fancy editing to it. We're not going to spend time doing voice overlays and music and things like that. This is just going to be cut and dry, down to the point. You'll have me or Randy sitting in front of the camera talking, and we may be starting a discussion on ballistics. We may be talking about something specific that we do, a service that we offer, training, different things like that, night vision comparisons with compensated and not, and we may do some cutting in, simple video editing, but nothing too fancy. And we're going to try to bring these to you quite often. But the first thing that I wanted to talk about, obviously, our name is getting out there a little bit, but a lot of people still have a lot of questions, primarily about our gunsmithing. A few of the questions are, what makes us different from other companies like Zev? Okay, well, and I'm not going to sit here and bash on Zev. They make a good product, but it is not what we do, and we have zero intent in competing with them at all. Okay. They offer certain series of cuts, primarily to Glocks. We do everything from 1911s and the Glocks, subcompacts, pocket pistols. We're wide open. We'd prefer if we didn't have to work on any high points, just because of the liability factor. But that's one big thing. Another big thing is our guns are truly 100% custom. A lot of people say, well, this is my Zev custom. But I've seen that slide, that configuration, I don't even know how many times. Like, that's not custom. Just because you picked your color and maybe a basic part configuration, that's not custom. You see, with us, when we get your firearm, a lot of times there'll be cuts that you like, but there'll be things that you would change about it. Say, well, I like this, but I think I would like it a lot more if it were like this. Well, that's exactly what we do. We're sending you pictures as your gun is in the machine. We want your feedback. You have a direct hand in it. Now, another big thing is we are 100% performance driven in all of the modifications that we do. We call it HPM, high performance modification. This is not ricer modification. Okay. You may be picking your basic cut patterns, and in some scenarios you can decide everything, all the way down to how deep the cuts are and what angle they are. Some situations we won't give you certain options, and that's because we're doing things like tuning slide to spring ratios, overall weights, different things like that. Okay, so you want a Raptor cut. We do a lot of those. You want it. Alright, I show you a picture, I send you a picture, it says this is 35 degrees, send you another picture, say this is 20. You're like, well, I'd like to land in the middle. Alright, fine, we'll cut it about 27. So we do a few Raptor cuts at 27. And you're like, hey, can we add another set? There's 3 on there, we can fit 4 pretty easy. Let's go for 4. Alright, so we add that 4th Raptor cut. What I didn't ask you is how deep you want those Raptor cuts. And what you didn't know is after we did the 4th one, I went back and created final depth on all of them. And it's not going to be much different. To notice in the pictures that I'm sending you from a cell phone, you're not going to notice that I went back and took an extra 30 or 50 thousandths out of each Raptor cut. But what I'm doing there is I have a goal for the weight of your slide based on your budget, how much cutting you really want, how much performance you're trying to get out of it. If you're going for a full-out custom gun, okay, I'm tuning a lot of things that you don't even know that I'm doing. And they're things that are a big performance enhancement. They are, well worth it. A lot of people are like, well, it looks cool, but I can't justify that price. Well, the typical game changer for that is when they can get our gun in their hands and pull the trigger. Then they realize, oh, wow, this isn't about looks. We do a lot of things without option. Another good example is Cerakoting slides. Sure, you pick your color or your design, whatever, that's fine. What you don't know, what we didn't even tell you was an option, we just do it every single time, is your slide guides and your barrel are micro slicked. which is a performance enhancement coating. It is not just like Cerakoting the part. It is a Cerakote, but it's essentially glass. And people will, oh, it's a Cerakoted blah, blah, blah. And then they rack it and they realize, for some reason, this gun is tighter and smoother. And that's because, again, just us Cerakoting a slide, it now has high performance coatings on interfacing surfaces. Another big question that we get is, how do I get my gun to you? Well, we are an FFL, and if there is no rep near you, which when you begin communicating with us, we will let you know if there's a rep in your area. If there is a rep that is a reasonably close distance to you, we will send you to them. They will take care of you. They'll print out the work orders. They'll, walk you through it. They'll have guns there that you can put your hands on. They'll have photo albums with price breakdowns. And really what they're doing is they are getting the gun from you and getting it to us. So they will ship it to us, and then we will contact you. And when we contact you, now the custom work begins. We'll contact you typically the day before your gun is going to begin its modifications, and we will get a rough direction. And in this rough direction we begin, and then we start getting into comparative pictures and things like that, where we are really diagnosing what it is that you're looking to get out of the gun, whether it be a specific performance or maybe a certain look. But even with looks, if it has a Spade logo on it, we are going to improve the performance of that firearm, period. There's no other option. When we put our name on it, we put our name on it in performance. And hey, shout out, it's 11 o'clock at night, I'm still in the shop, and this gun right here is going to the Bullet Co. in Louisville, Kentucky. So shout out to them. If you're in that area, then stop in there, and I would say in about another week they're going to have 2 really, really nice performance Spade guns in there. And they'll be more than happy to take care of you as far as getting in touch with us. Now, if you are not close to a rep and you contact us, the law states from any state that you can ship directly to us and we can return directly to you. Now, you must accompany the firearm with a copy of your driver's license, and we can only return the firearm to the address that is on that driver's license, which means don't do that if your license isn't correct. Because if your license isn't correct, it's going to wind up at somebody else's doorstep. That's the address that I must return ship to. So I can't send it to your work. I can't do anything like that. It's going to be adult signature required. There are things that we have to do, but you do not need to worry about going through a gun shop when it comes to any of that. Now, out of respect for our reps, if you contact us, and a good example here, if you are in Louisville, you will be going to the Bullet Co. to send the gun to us. They do a lot of things for us. We do a lot of work for them. We are guaranteeing them that interface. If you send it to us, and let's say you did not know about the rep program, somebody dropped the ball, that's fine. More than likely, we are going to have you pick it up at that location, because we can ship to another FFL. We're really only doing that, out of respect for our representatives. Guys, that's how that works. So, the best way is to contact us. Facebook is a good one. Me personally, my Facebook, if you haven't found it, it's not that hard. You can look that up, or Randy's, and hop onto one of those, shoot us a message. Our website is getting a new tab right now to show all of our representatives, and we do have representatives all over the place. So from Indiana, Kentucky, Alabama, Vegas, it's stretching out there. So don't be surprised if you walk into a shop and get your hands on some Spade guns. But for the first installment of Spade Raw, that's pretty much how the gunsmithing works. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and our Facebook page. just so that you can stay up on everything. We will probably start doing breakdowns where things are exclusive to different social medias just to expand. So make sure that you're following us across the board, and I'm sure we'll be talking again this week.